Are You Normal? Thursday at 11 on News 8.
Could your house be making you fat? Tomorrow, CBS 2 News at 5.
And the ingredients in shampoo that can make a boy develop breasts. Tonight at 10.
Sex offenders may be in your house at 11.
Sexual predators sent to live in our nursing homes. Could this happen to your mother?
How a twist on the predator law could shut down religion.
What are the odds? Some say a popular drug could turn you into a compulsive gambler.
Want to lose weight? Stay in the dark. We'll explain at 11.
Nearly stabbed to death.
I felt the knife going through my bones.
Why she might have to share her home with the man who attacked her. Tonight at 10.
Could frequent hiccups be a sign of cancer? Watch News 8 at 10.
One city wants to pack all their sex offenders into a 3-block area. Problem is, it could be right next to your house.
The choices for TV in the morning when you get up early on the weekend.
It's murder.
Cable news isn't ready to fire up their bullshit yet. Let's call it bullshit.
It is.
And then one of them, I think it might be MSNBC, they run old Datelines, and they're
totally.
all just so creepy because no one had an idea.
Well, that's why I found the Fogarty today.
Yeah.
When we were planning this today, he's like, I don't know how busy you are. I'm like, I just found Fogarty on PBS for 2.5 hours.
Nice. That's strong.
I ain't moving.
Yeah. That's strong.
Most of those are old ones, but I still love. There ain't nothing better than a Joni Mitchell.
It was like great performances.
Any of them. Any of those. Anytime I can just pause through the hey, give us money.
Absolutely.
And then every once in a while I get tricked to watch the local news. And I'll go, oh, God. I get mad because I'm like, there's no redeeming quality to watching the local news. It's like, here's all the really bad shit that happened in your neighborhood while you slept.
Baby threw fell a subgrate.
Yeah. And half these stories, you're like, why do I need to know this?
No.
There was, whatever. I don't want to tell the exact story because then I'm doing the same thing as the news. But I was listening to a radio show and the local newsman was doing his news. And, some of these local news people, they look at the quote, shock jock as he's the problem. And like, oh, what a, And he's the one that's just throwing negative, horrible news out to everyone, and that's his job. He tells a story about a foster kid, a 3-year-old, and let's just put it this way, bad things happen to the foster kid, and I'm sitting there going, what? I don't need to know any of this.
Right. No, that's right.
Why do we need to know this?
My boy, Kenny Zimlinghouse, very funny comedian, used to work with an ex-wife down in Sirius. And Kenny always had the joke on this angle of, every time they catch one of these weird creepos that's imprisoned somebody or done something horrible.
Yeah.
He's like, well, we just don't know how Incest Dungeon Girl is going to get over this. Well, maybe if we stop calling her Incest Dungeon Girl.
right. You just call her the victim. Let's start with that, yeah.
That's Kenny. That's Kenny's in the house. I'm totally footnoting.
Why?
I'm completely footnoting.
Why does the local news still have an audience?
Because it has to be negative. It has just. Then at 5 minutes, but then with 2 minutes to go, hey, Judd found a panda.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
We don't know how he got out of the
last
national
story.
zoo.
It's 15 seconds.
In a sewer grader in the Bronx. We didn't know.
Did you know that all pandas are owned by China?
They only eat bamboo.
Yeah.
They only loan them out to people in zoos in the States. Yeah, and then the weather's useless because we have that on our phone.
Awful.
And what about the traffic girl on TV? No one is smart enough to go, okay, this is all a waste of time. Let's try to do something different here.
It's always the same formula,
Yeah.
When you do the road and you do the clubs and you do the morning TV and you do the noonday television or any of it, they always stick you with the weather guy. Because he's the wacky.
He's the fun one.
He's got more personality.
He's the fun one. He has less to lose. He has less to lose. That's why. So you assholes. All of a sudden you tell one of your Asian jokes. You can fire the weatherman, but you can't fire the head anchor.
Right.
I was in my favorite one of these about 3 or 4 years ago. I'm in Iowa, and the dude in front of me is handmade Christmas toys. He has literally hand carved trains and all this, and he's left it all out on the table. And I'm the last. And it's Good Morning Des Moines, and then I'm the last. Vic Henley's coming up. He's at the Funny Bone, and so I walk out, and it's some 23-year-old. It's her first gig ever because it's 8:30 in the morning in Iowa, and I start picking up all of his stuff. And she's like, "So Vic, what's going on?" I'm like, "What's going on? I'm really upset that this is all my shit. And this guy came out here. These are my toys. I can't believe I don't know who he is, but I didn't cuss. But I'm like, I don't know why, and I'm getting really. It's 23-year-old doesn't know deer in headlight. Amish person looking at a ceiling fan, just staring at me, and I'm like, I'm holding. I had to reach over and touch her in the leg and go, I'm kidding.
A joke, comedian, ha. Yeah.
But I went full on into this jackass stole my shit. This is how I pay my children's tuition.
Too good, man.
Yeah.
Have you seen any good documentaries?
There was another Mel Brooks one. I saw it last night.
Right.
And it's an English writer-director that's done a bunch of documentaries with him. But if you've seen the Carl Reiner, if you've seen all the Mel Brooks, it's kind of a giant. But I didn't. Hey, I was in for an hour and a half.
I love it.
I totally was in for an hour and a half, even though it was a whole bunch of stuff I'd really seen before.
And they ask him, you think Blazing Saddles could be made today? And Mel Brooks is like, hell no. I forgot the exact quote, but he's like, of course
I just like that, they mentioned his wife, and he almost cried, and I thought that was kind of sweet.
And Bancroft.
Yeah, and Bancroft. But they did I told you the one, we've talked about this on this show before. He brought up the things you can't do, and it was the Cannes Film Festival where all the jokes were rape.
Yeah.
I did this 2 episodes ago. We've talked about this.
Yeah.
But they're sitting in the lobby. And Carl Reiner and him, and Mel Brooks keeps coming out as a different director. And every time he comes out, he describes the movie that he's just made. And Carl Reiner goes, well, what's the movie about? And then he goes into it, and every punchline is, and then they raped him. I've got it on a cassette tape from the 19th.
Oh, my God.
Talk about what you couldn't do now.
Right.
And get away with. Yeah. I mean, incredible.
Well, and these kids today don't understand that type of humor whatsoever. They think that means you support rape.
Well, that was Flynn,
which is exhausting. It's exhausting.
No,
well, I don't have to tell you guys. You have to deal with this way more than me. But these young kids today don't understand that you could actually take a topic very seriously, but also laugh. And
you want to say the meanest thing as possible.
You're taking the piss out of shit.
My mother told me you got to laugh to keep from crying. That's an old Southern thing. And that means in tragedy or a death or maybe a suicidal social issue or whatever it might be. You got to laugh to keep from crying. It's why the goddamn jester existed in medieval times.
Yeah.
Right.
Who was the guy that only got to make fun of the king? The fucking jester.
Yeah.
And why? Because he made you think a little bit.
Right.
Not because he shouldn't necessarily shit on the king.
He's just the jester.
He's just a jester. Bring on the fool.
Right.
But how many jesters were killed?
They were killed. Right.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, you're totally right.
Especially
when the joke went wrong. Right.
That's probably what they meant by the term he's killing.
Hey,
no, I'm not. I'm not even.
Maybe.
I'm not even going for the joke.
No, I like it.
Because if you're a jester back in the day and you're making fun of the king and you're killing it,
then you know you're going to be killed.
Right. The king's not going to take that shit.
Well, it depends on who the king was. Maybe so.
I think you were in a no-win situation. So you're like, well, this is the last day of my life. I might as well make some fun.
Go hard, right?
Yeah, might as well have some fun, right?
Right.
Yeah. There's no way they had a sense of humor to that point.
You got to go hard.
That brings us to Jay Leno. So, do you guys watch America's Got Talent?
No, there's no talent on there.
No.
So
Tom Cotter. Once the dog act beat Cotter 3 years ago.
Right.
I've never liked that show.
Not really so much.
I didn't like when Howard did it. I've never liked it.
Look, I hated that they had comics on that show, and nothing against Tom Cotter either. The comics that are incredibly talented, they don't have time for that because they're making too much money just touring and whatnot. So it's always like a comic that's good but not great that gets all this exposure, which is insane. But anyway, on the show, Jay Leno was a celebrity judge. And Gabrielle Union, she's married to
Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade, thank you.
Miami Heat.
She was a judge, and now that she's been fired, she's now coming out with all these problems she's had with the show, where they didn't allow her to be black enough with her hair and her styling.
They said her hair was too black, or her outfit was too, or something like yeah.
So she had to tone it down and.
Right.
Anyway, she didn't say all this stuff when she was cashing the big paychecks.
And she didn't like that Simon Cowell smoked.
Wait, you know this story? Then.
I knew of that part. I heard that part.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
I didn't wait. So they brought him back, and he's smoking, and she doesn't like it.
She's smoking, he didn't like it. It's a toxic environment, the whole thing.
This explains comedy in the year 2019, almost 2020. So Jay Leno.
I like it. No, that was good. It was old school, but I like it.
So Jay Leno's a celebrity judge, whatever, and he's walking the hallways for the week or whatever it was, the 2 or 3 days, and he's being Jay Leno. He's making his jokes, and he sees a poster or something, and he makes some kind of Asian, maybe Korean Asian / dog eating joke.
Right.
I don't even feel like,
All right, but he walks around and goes, no. I guess
he's being Jay Leno, making his jokes, right?
I got to say, I don't know poodles that day at the buffet.
Right. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. And Gabrielle Union had a problem with that and was encouraging people to go to HR over Jay Leno and his joking.
Oh,
yes.
For his dog-eating joke. Yes. And now 2 Asian groups have come out. And they basically want to, try to ruin Jay Leno's life. NBC shouldn't do anything with him anymore. This blah, blah, blah. America's Got Talent. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
We're in the blah, 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 blah.
The nicest guy in the world.
Nicest guy in the world.
With the big heart.
Just being a comic.
I mean, a big heart, too.
Right.
Really, that's idiotic.
Yeah.
And of course.
And Gabrielle Union, I mean, does she understand how comedy works?
Nope.
Not that
No
day.
one who ever makes those comments does. No one who would ever say any of those things understands how comedy works. Not one person. No. They don't get it. We're mean, we're awful, we're ugly.
Yeah.
You're still putting turds and stomping cakes, and I'm fucking a big dickhead and says Jesus is a cunt.
Whoa,
hey. Well, no, Seamus.
Whoa.
My friend Seamus sent me a picture.
Christmas right around the corner, Vic.
I put it on my Instagram. I told you this.
No, I don't know if you did.
So my friend Seamus hangs around a bunch of these Irish guys.
Yeah.
And so he sent me a picture of a T-shirt that says Jesus is a cunt. And I didn't notice that the cross was like upside down. But basically, it's an artist in Ireland.
Yeah.
And I believe, hate to interpret, but I'm trying to say if Jesus wasn't such a cunt, then maybe we wouldn't have all these wars and death and murder in his name for the past 2,000 years.
Right.
Which is what I thought the artist was trying to say.
And he's from Ireland, where the word is
means nothing.
Is a little different.
Like damn.
Yeah.
Means absolutely nothing. Little children can say it at 6 o'clock on national television.
It's the same as "Hey you."
Yes.
Pretty
Little
much.
kids can go off. They go, we're going to Dublin. They're upset with the prime minister's decision, and the kid's going to go, because he's a cunt, and they're just going to fucking say that.
Right.
So that's what it means. It means absolutely nothing.
I think it's important to say that.
It's completely absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's a little softer over there, that word.
So it's only in our country is it bad. So Instagram took me down for hate speech.
Oh shit! They did.
Immediately.
Oh my god!
And they left me a paragraph to write. If you can explain to us how this is not hate speech, then we will put you back up.
Beautiful.
And in 3 minutes, I wrote in the comments. I'm like, in Ireland, I wrote everything we just said. This words mean nothing in 99% of the countries across the planet Earth. This is just somebody calling somebody an asshole.
Right.
This is an artist's interpretation of him saying, I believe, well, if Jesus wasn't such a troublemaker, maybe more people would be alive. We have all the wars that ever existed through humanity. They posted it back in 3 minutes.
Oh,
I was down for 5 minutes, and I was up 3 minutes later. They took my explanation.
Good for Instagram.
No, I loved it. I couldn't believe it. I was just as shocked at hate speech as I was. Well, you're going to give me. Then when I explained myself and they came back, I was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe this.
Yeah. Well, that religion has caused a bunch of problems in the world, huh?
That's how I tell you.
Yeah.
I tell you. But they say it different in Ireland.
They
so
say it like that.
better.
It doesn't. It sounds funny. They don't. It's kunst.
I'm a fan of the Jesus, I guess. Sure.
Who doesn't like Jesus? Everybody loves Jesus.
Yeah.
No, you only get in trouble where you claim is my Jesus is bigger than your Jesus.
Right.
That's the only time anybody gets in trouble is my Jesus is bigger than your Jesus.
And
I think anyway.
Well, yeah.
Then if the Hindus are going to get involved, then our Jesus are 17 people more than yours.
Yeah. Exactly. So
you're going to get into monotheism.
So where are you at with this Jay Leno thing? So now they want to
I'm sure he's
the
going to
cancel
ignore it.
culture is going after him. There's 2 big Asian groups that are going after him, and there's actually places over there in Asia that they do eat dogs.
I think he should find every rice burning car that he has in his warehouse.
Oh, he don't care in the
and
end.
then just tour. It's called the Rice Burner Asian Tour.
In the end, he don't care, but it's just infuriating for
really
people
nice.
that still need to
to
make their living off telling jokes, and most of the time it is just being innocent and just trying to make people laugh, And then you got these special interest groups. It's like there's actually places over there that have dog eating festivals. So why don't you use your energy to maybe shut that stuff down?
Yeah. No, I mean, well, first of all, it's Jay Leno. It's not going to matter one way or the other for him. But even if it wasn't somebody as famous as Jay Leno, I can't imagine that particular one sticking. Like, oh, we can't hire this person because he made the Korean restaurant
dog eating, right?
Menu joke or whatever.
When we got fired down in Sirius, we were down there.
We didn't get fired.
We were run out on a rail unlawfully.
Well, yeah,
but there was a.
In the end, we didn't get fired.
But if there was a bathroom picture, if we supposedly got in trouble for a bathroom picture, then my favorite bathroom picture is me, this man, Jim Norton, Gaffigan, Leno, who else was there? Daryl Hammond.
Ricky Gervais.
We're all in the back. We're all in the urinals lined up at Sirius.
Oh, shit.
Where we were supposedly wink, got in trouble for taking pictures in the bathroom.
Yeah,
and I'm like, how about a picture in the bathroom? It's me and him and Gaffigan, Leno, Norton,
all with their dicks out.
Is this one okay?
We're all standing there. We're all sitting there. You can't see anything, but we're all sitting there at the urinal with one hand on the penis and one hand waving. And one hand waving up.
This is from Variety. So, two organizations dedicated to the inclusion and representation of Asian American communities in media have condemned comedian Jay Leno and called on network NBC to sever its business ties with the former late night host.
Do that, please.
I'll be honest, man. Over the years doing the Shock Jock radio stuff, the Asian special interest groups are pretty scary. They scare executives all the time.
Well, sometimes the special...
no, the Asian special interest groups are very, very powerful.
When the squeaky wheel gets the grease and there's only 3 squeakies in the group, then I don't think you deserve it.
Yeah.
Now, if the NAACP is coming down on me, I'm going to goddamn listen to you.
That's different.
But if you're citizens for this and that and the other, and you could delve into who that group really is, and it's fucking 9 people who don't have anything to do but self-flagellate and masturbate.
But when these groups used to contact the radio stations, man, the executives always listened. They were
that's why we hate the suits.
Petrified.
You hated every suit you ever worked with.
Yeah.
How many times we had a meeting? Yeah. How many times me at a club?
Yeah.
Well, the Citizens for Trucker Community, and you said something last night, and you said diesel, and they run on diesel, and you're mad, and we all depend on diesel, and you can't say fuck diesel. And I'm like, I'm talking about Vin Diesel. You're not even listening to my shitty joke.
Well, especially with the Asian groups. I'm like, do you think they're listening? Because they're threatening to boycott the station. I'm like, boycott? No. You got to listen to the station before you can even boycott the damn thing.
Right.
Anyway,
just want to be upset.
The two organizations refer to a joke Leno made about Asians eating dog meat when he appeared as a guest judge on America's Got Talent. An account of the joke, which was said on camera and cut from the final episode of the Simon Cowell-owned competition, was included in an exclusive... All right, blah, blah, blah. Jay Leno is a repeat offender in denigrating a part of our Asian American community.
Jay Leno.
And it must stop.
The nicest guy.
Jay Leno, right.
Literally, one of the nicest guys in the show.
Says John C. Yang. Yang said Leno has exhibited a pattern of stereotyping Asians in his routine throughout his career, whether it is his use of the offensive stereotype to talk about a Korean skater's Olympic loss in 2002. Kim Dong-sung was so upset he went home and kicked his dog, then ate him.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
That's a goddamn good joke.
Or as a parent.
Good joke.
By the way, this is why.
That's a good That's a fucking good joke.
I didn't even realize Jay Leno did that joke, but because of these two special interest jokes, because of these two special interest groups,
goddamn good joke.
Now that great joke is everywhere.
It's fucking wonderful.
But when it's such a
thank you, tight ass is right. Thank you, tight ass.
Yeah. Or as a parent recent comment backstage at America's Got Talent, where he remarked that pets in a photo look like something one would find on the menu at a Korean restaurant.
Right.
He ought to branch to other country. Laos. I said Laos.
Yeah. Of Leno's
Philippines.
Overall humor, Yang told Variety that jokes of this nature are so toxic because it is intended to minimize a community and somehow make that community seem less civilized.
No, Southern people eat chitlins. Doesn't matter if you're black or white.
Right.
We're fucking pig intestine eaters.
Nutria-rat.
Yes.
Like, I mean,
So that's the same.
Yeah, it's all right.
No.
These groups also applauded Gabrielle Union, the ousted AGT judge, who flagged Leno's joke with producers and NBC executives and demanded human resources intervene.
Oh, there's the move right there.
That's
what does it.
I mean, that's where it gets.
The joke was never addressed at a higher level, numerous insiders said, and Union was later let go from the series. That's insane.
Crazy. Yeah.
We applaud Gabrielle Union for not only calling out Leno's behavior for what it is, but also, more importantly, for her willingness to stand up for a fellow community of color, Yang concluded.
Good Lord. His behavior.
Oh, no, wait, so Leno's...
There's no behavior. It's if you didn't like the joke, it wasn't funny to you.
Right.
There ain't no goddamn behavior.
Right.
He didn't go out and buy a flag and go to your house and start donating and openly campaigning against your belief system, but It's a goddamn joke. We're comics. You laugh, you don't laugh, or otherwise shut the fuck up.
I mean, I get it. It's 2019, almost 2020, but it's true. Korean people and others, they eat dogs. I've had dog before. I don't know.
Filipino. There's a book called The Dog Eaters. I was married to a Filipino.
Right.
Robin Williams is half Filipino.
It's not like saying something like a generalization about a race or something like that that's not true, or just something that's, everyone else just thinks it. No, they do. They do.
You've had dog?
I've had dog.
What does it taste like?
Chicken.
It just tastes like meat. It was kind of like
dark. It's kind of greasy.
It was almost like
I've seen it. I ain't eaten it.
Wait, you've seen dog
I've seen
on a
it.
plate?
I've been.
Where?
I've traveled.
Really?
Yeah, China.
Yeah, it was almost like a. What was it almost like? It was almost like a. Not deer, but
they got chow. They got little puppies in a cage. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
You can walk through the market and there's like a chow dog. No pun intended.
Right.
You can literally.
See, I understand.
And he's got a little coffee cup just going back and forth on the fucking thing. Just trying to say, man, you pop that latch.
How many 80s movies?
Nobody knows the trouble.
It's going to be a long day.
How many 80s movies was that scene in?
Nobody's right. The sorrow.
I like that. Yeah. Well, look, let's break this down a little bit, though. So, to an American, seeing that in China would freak you the fuck out.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Right?
Well, no more than the crickets or the spiders or, any kind of Andrew Zimmern weird treats.
Because we're not used to it. But then we eat stuff over here that other parts of the world are like, you're crazy. Why do you eat that?
Well, everybody eats all kinds of wild animal hillbilly stuff that nobody
fucking possum
understands.
Coon. Like I said earlier, nutria rat.
Right.
I mean, go to all that stuff. Yeah.
They eat those guinea pigs down in South America and Central
America.
Peru.
They love those.
Little gerbil
really?
guinea.
Yeah.
You told me this.
Which one?
The one that looks like a guinea pig gerbil.
Yeah.
South America.
No, it's a guinea pig. In Peru, they ate it.
Is that what it is?
I had neighbors in Houston who were from Peru, and they made that, like they would bring out the barbecue pits and they were in the front.
Right, put them on a
front
spit.
Yard, they had them on a spit, man.
Dude, these two organizations have been after Leno for a long time. One of the guys says it took 2 conference calls, countless meetings with NBC executives, even admonishment from a high-ranking NBC executive, and 2 advertiser campaigns to get Jay Leno to stop after 10 years.
Well,
given that after all this time, Leno has been an unrepentant repeat offender, is asking NBC to end its business relationship with him. They just want him to stop.
They're a little late.
His wife, Mavis Staples.
Yeah.
His wife, Mavis Staples, Leno.
Great singer. Yeah.
But Mavis has always been she's one of the biggest humanitarian rights person on the planet Earth.
Right.
She works with all the Eastern Europeans, the Romanians, the Latvia, all of it. Wherever there's trouble in Eastern Europe,
right.
She's one of the best proponents on orphans and stuff. So to act like he can't be married to the sweetest Mother Teresa humanitarian aspects activist and be a dick himself, it just doesn't go together.
Don't you believe to get total acceptance as a group, you got to be able to take some jokes?
Yes.
Right? Doesn't that come down to that in the end?
We all make the worst jokes on ourselves.
Right.
The best jokes are the black people making black jokes on themselves, or gay people or hillbillies or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
The self-deprecation of your own group.
Yeah.
The Jews invented this.
Yeah.
And I mean that in the best fucking comedy way possible.
Mel Brooks.
I think when you
the best comedy way possible.
I think when you go down
shit on your existence and you try to laugh.
Yeah. I think when you have campaigns like this, you're just showing the world that your group is inferior.
True.
I think
so. Yeah. I agree.
And then to finish up with the Gabrielle Union, and we watched this show as a family, and we kind of liked her. But man, some of the stuff that's coming out ever since she got fired, she seems like a real.
You
know what?
I don't read.
Let's go back to.
I just know if you jump on this, it's kind of piling on stupid. It's just irrelevant.
Yeah. Those includes notes that Union's rotating hairstyles were too black. So she got mad at the executives.
All right. I would get mad at
racial insensitivity in booking the performers on AGT. A general pressure applied to the female judges on the show. And health and safety issues like Cowell's reported indoor smoking. She went to HR and smoking. Simon Cowell gave her a great opportunity. What?
No, I'm with you. That's I mean, I know we're in a
I'm not a fan of indoor smoking, but I'm not going to go run and tell on the person.
Right.
I
don't know what to say.
I'll kind of remove myself from the situation.
I'd sneak outside and smoke pot.
Yeah, whatever.
That's what I would turn that into a positivity.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're smoking, I'm smoking. I'm going out here. But you're right. I wouldn't go. I've never reported. I can't think of a job ever. Have you? They told on us and we got fired. Have you ever been? I've never told on anybody.
Oh, my God, never.
No.
For what?
Anything. I'm just saying. I've been in a million workplace awkward moments, but I never thought to go tell somebody.
I realized radio was fucked. Two things happened, okay? One, they started offering health insurance.
All right.
So that was nice, obviously, because in radio you don't make a lot of money.
True. Comedy either.
I thought it was nice, but I also remember thinking, this is becoming a real job.
Here we go, right.
So that was my first little inkling, like, whoa. And then the second one was, and I thought this was insane, HR came into radio. I come from a time, there was no HR, my friend.
No, I've
none.
Said it before on this show.
And next thing you know, you're sitting down with HR, and I'm like, what? We're all in radio because we don't want to have real
when I saw
real
you,
jobs.
I've said this story on here a million times. When I walked in the hallway that day, and you were really upset because they've been chewing your ass out in the conference room, and you're like, I was down there, and I'm like, I saw him pacing around in the corner one day, and I'm like 5 minutes earlier, and I'm like, what's up with you? And he goes, what's up with me? I've been down there in the big room with the big long table with like 15 people, and they've been chewing my ass out on it. And I'm like real job shit?
Like big boy stuff?
And I really, and he was, and I wasn't trying to be.
It was all nonsense.
No, but I was stunned. I was stunned because he was genuinely that upset. I was stunned that he had to even consider and entertain these idiots. And then I'm triple stunned because when he explains it to them perfectly, they go, nah, that ain't it.
Yeah.
You fucking waved him off.
It was amazing.
All right, I'm going to get a whiskey.
Yeah, all right.
You call me Judd.
I don't know what to say to Judd without you.
We could talk about the list, the person who's on my list for the show.
Yeah, so you're doing a show tonight.
I'm doing a show tonight.
And you're hosting, so you're bringing up a lot of different, very young comics, right?
They're young comics, and I just do like 10 to 12 minutes at the front, something like that, and then it's all these nervous college students coming up, so trying to keep that going, and if it gets a little awkward, maybe try to bring it along. But there's so many opportunities to come up with something when I go back up there after having listened to them or whatever. But I love doing the show. It's just a ton of fun, and I'm really grateful to be able to do it. Plus, it's the Gotham, real deal. But she sent me the list of performers tonight so I could print it off and put it in my pocket. Be a fucking professional.
Just read the parentheses in that one.
Yeah, no, not going to read the name. One of the people on the list, I won't say the name, but in parentheses it says, goes by they/them pronouns. So when I told Vic about this, my thought was, if I don't say the person's name, I'm supposed to say, another round of applause for them.
Yeah.
Or they.
Or they.
Yeah. That's what I think.
Right.
Wasn't they great? Wasn't them great?
Ladies and gentlemen, they. Or ladies and gentlemen, them.
Well,
that's what's written on his list.
Right. It's the person's name and in the parentheses, they, them. So Vic thought that I'm supposed to just refer to them only as they, them. I think I'm supposed to use their name, but now I'm really tempted to just say, give them another round of applause. Because that's what it says in the parentheses.
Can we start with the basics here? So you don't want to be called he or she, right?
That's what we can't figure out.
So why would you come up with they or them?
We don't know.
Because that doesn't make sense.
We don't, because she's a schizo. My first guess was okay.
No, they and them are plural.
So she's such a nut job.
No, but this is a lot of people want this now. So let's say, Vic, you're like, you know what? I'm not a he anymore. I'm a they or them.
Right.
That's a plural.
I go, what does your parent?
Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, then I'm going to say, what's your mom call you?
Right.
When they say happy birthday, Greg, or happy birthday, Lucille, what they fucking saying? And because I told him, I sent him a text. I'm like, If you cage into this, I'm never going to talk to you again. I'm never going to. I go, you got to say it wrong.
Yeah.
I call her Al Green. Just say something totally wrong. Right. Welcome, go, ladies and gentlemen, Jimi Hendrix. Right. You said they or them. Well, aren't they part of they or them?
Right.
Everyone is part of they or them.
Or the group.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lord Christ Jesus.
Or the group them.
Van Morrison. Nice
yes,
quote.
thank you very much. Thank
Gloria.
you. Yeah.
Gloria.
Yeah. The Last Waltz.
Oh, so good. So
Van Morrison in The Last Waltz. Have we ever talked about this?
Oh, yes.
That's my top
No,
three
have we
movie
ever
to watch.
talked about him and his high kicks and his tight jeans?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Dude,
Okay.
No.
this is
It
the
is
gr-
one of my favorite
we
things
have
in
totally-
rock history. I don't know if we've ever talked about it on the podcast.
Maybe not, but in person we have. I know we have in person.
When
not,
I
not
watched
on
this,
here.
I rewind
Maybe
it
not
to
on
that
here, but
part
you and I
to
have
watch
talked
it
about
multiple
From
times.
the moment I met you, we started talking about
He
it.
tries to do high kicks.
He's
in tight
chunky.
jeans, and he's chunky as fuck.
It's tight,
and
wide collar.
He does not look like a rock
No,
star
at all.
And he's going for the high kick, and if he gets a foot off the floor, I would tell you, right?
And then after
the
he does it,
jeans
he
are
looks
too short.
exasperated.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he just wants to get
Yes.
that kick up in the
It
air,
is
and
so
he can't
beautiful.
get it done.
It is so beautiful.
The Last Waltz is one of the most amazing documentaries. First of all, the music's ridiculously good, but there's so much cool stuff in that. Like Bob Dylan is the only true rock star on that stage.
Well, the Staples.
When Bob Dylan is out there, you're like, that's a rock star. He's
That's
not.
true.
He's not trying at all. He is
No.
just. He is just in the moment.
What's that song that they do? I will.
I shall be released.
I shall be released.
Oh yeah.
Any day now.
boy.
Any day now,
That
baby.
is so good.
And then who has the Coke booger?
Oh,
Neil Young.
It's Neil
Yes,
Young's
Neil
Coke
Young.
booger.
He's got a Coke booger.
And didn't it come out that they had to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to digitize it out of his nose?
No, it's on the copy that I have.
No,
at home.
no, because
It's on I got the anniversary
Yeah.
edition.
they couldn't totally get rid of it. I'm gonna look this up.
All right, I'm drinking Jameson because I ain't
Cheers.
working.
Cheers.
Here. Who knows how
By the
funny
way,
it
we're not going to our favorite Mexican joint. They got rid of the pork chop.
No.
I know that's just for me and you and no one else, but I ordered what took the place of the pork chop last night, home delivery, and it was the worst fucking takeout meal I've ever had. They had the best pork chop at Santa Fe on the Upper West Side. Bring it back. Bring it back.
Carl had the best pork chop in the city.
He did. That was
Oh,
amazing.
100%.
Alex Guarnaschelli.
I've never had anything
well,
like
Alex
that.
Guarnaschelli started it with butter, that pork chop. And then Carl tripled down on her and got the Ottomanelli's.
Yeah.
Cold smoke, brine.
Yes.
Cold smoke.
Right, that was the
was
difference.
the key to the
But
whole
weren't the pigs that he got? What was the deal that the place they finish them off with?
He got them from Holy City Hog. Now Tank used to bring the pigs up to him because they're feeding them blueberries and yogurt.
No, but they finished it. They finished them off with chocolate milk.
Right.
I remember Carl
Yes.
said that.
Yes.
They finished them off with chocolate milk before they slaughtered
everything
them.
they're sitting there right. It's it's the hog dream come true if you're going Green Mile.
Right.
If you're going Green Mile on the hog, then you want your last meal to be everyone's
Dude,
last
it was
meal
so
convict
good.
dinner.
That was
Exactly.
so good. Fucking glorious, dude.
There were a lot of people, I think, in the band that didn't like The Last Waltz because they thought the whole movie was about Robbie Robertson looking good.
Well, he was always they were always aggravating him about that. That was a dispute between the band for many, many years. That's why, Levon, the whole thing about the night they drove Old Dixie down is Levon went, you don't know anything about hillbilly, you're from Canada. And Robbie Robertson went, oh yeah, really? Listen to this. And he wrote the night they drove Old Dixie down just to prove to Levon he knew hillbilly.
And he wrote that song
to prove to Levon.
No, but he wrote that
I
song
think so.
as a
I believe
lullaby
you.
to his kid.
Yes, but it was a fuck you to Levon too. But
I am so happy. I know this was a good podcast, but I'm so happy that you guys are all in with the Van Morrison high kick.
Those tight.
I told you. I rewind.
Bell-bottom
to watch
jeans
it
are halfway
multiple
up his
times.
calf. They're halfway up his calf.
His whole suit is like aqua blue or
right, he's
something,
trying
you
to
know?
kick it. It is like it is. It's
Yeah,
like a
and
weird.
it's all
blue.
tight. He's
So
got
It's a weird
chubby
blue. It's way
gut.
too tight.
His titties are all
Way
out.
too
Me
tight.
and my wife will just rent it and go to that part just to
Yes.
laugh.
See,
It's at the end of the
that's
song,
why you're
and then he
good.
dramatically walks off.
That's why you're-
like he
That's
got
it.
something.
That's it.
Like he got something
He
done.
just did a James Brown split.
That's what he
and
did.
popped up and walked off.
Right.
You tell me stories like that every now and then.
Yeah.
Not that I've ever worried about your relationship, but every now and then, because I know she's great and he doesn't share a lot, but every now and then he'll tell me a funny story and I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
I know
He's like, no,
she's-
we were just sitting here last night and she said this and I said this and I'm like, oh, book. As long as I've known him, you married the right person.
Absolutely.
You married the right person.
Yeah. Without a doubt. Okay, Young's booger, Neil Young's booger had to be edited out. This is what I've been looking for.
Edited out?
When the movie was projected for the first time, Neil Young's manager was horrified when he saw his client's face. There was a rock of cocaine falling out of his nostril. The film executive producer, Jonathan Taplin, remembered when Young's manager suddenly blustered that he was refusing to allow Helpless to appear in The Last Waltz. Taplin went to a special effects company. This is in 78, by the way.
Hard to do.
Hard to do in 78. Effects company to fix things, telling them, this guy has got a booger in his nose. Can you fix it? After a few days, they responded saying, we've invented a traveling booger mat.
M-A-T-T-E.
M-A-T-T-E. Very good.
Yeah,
And I read somewhere else that it costs like hundreds of thousands of dollars to get it done.
Booger mat.
There's no
M-A-T-T-E.
three. That's a good crossword.
Yeah.
Traveling booger mat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that movie so much.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's
Well, the
just
fact that
the greatest concert movie ever, in my opinion.
Wait, where did they film The Last
No,
Waltz?
that was
at the Beacon.
No, it was.
All right.
It's San Francisco. It's a famous place.
Oh, the Fillmore.
No,
Fillmore West?
Maybe they started there, and that's why they did the last show there.
Fillmore West.
Winterland Ballroom.
Winterland.
San Francisco.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's San Francisco.
That's where they started, and that's where they did their final performance.
Oh, that's my favorite
what it
Jimi
was.
Hendrix ever. I used to tell people for 1,000 years, I'll still tell them now. If there is no problem in your life that's so difficult that it cannot be erased by listening to Jimi Hendrix live at Winterland.
Okay.
You sit down, you put it on, and then an hour and 10 minutes later, I defy you to tell me that you've got an ounce of
Find it
trouble in
better.
your world.
Right.
It will beat the hatred, the negativity. Such a powerful. They do Cream.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
The instrumental version, because Cream broke up, and Jimmy's like, I'm not saying we can do this song better than those guys or anything. We're going to try to do it. We just heard about this band, The Cream. We called them The Cream.
The
Called them The Cream. They broke up, and then they fucking play Sunshine. Oh, it's so goddamn. But the Winterland Ballroom.
Sunshine of Your Love.
Sunshine of Your Love. Live at Winterland is the greatest Jimmy live album
Why
ever.
couldn't Cream get along?
Well, because Ginger Baker's crazy.
Yeah, he is.
See that documentary?
Of course.
Yeah, Ginger Baker's fucking
Beware of Ginger
Baker.
Yeah.
I think it's called
fucking
Beware
mine.
of Ginger Baker. Yeah, that documentary. He just died, Ginger Baker. I got to disappoint you.
Uh-oh.
I never got Hendrix.
Fuck you.
No, I know.
Are you crazy?
Besides the
Manic depression.
Besides-
Voodoo Child.
Do you like guitar?
Thank you, Judd.
I never. No, I know, but you know my.
I don't know. Now I want to go home right now.
I know you're gonna.
You're making me want to lay the microphone down.
But you should be more surprised than disappointed because I have some, knowledge over the years. But
I got you.
Past the stuff I had to play on the radio, I never got into Hendrix. I know
so
that.
sad.
I know.
So sad.
I know.
Sad.
I mean, as far as guitar players, I'm a little biased. I mean, I'm more of a Stevie Ray.
Stevie
Vaughan
Ray,
fan.
I'm Stevie Ray.
was a huge-
And what are some of Stevie Ray's best covers? Hendrix songs.
Hendrix, yeah, Voodoo Child. Right?
I couldn't stand the weather for the win. Sorry.
Yeah.
Good song.
I'm a huge Stevie Ray Vaughan fan.
Yeah.
I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. So I don't know why I never fully got into Hendrix. I didn't hate him.
No, but I tell you what, tangent me crazy. My first wife, Robin Williams,
not the comedian.
her sister.
We established that a long time ago.
Her sister's 10 years younger than her, and she's going to the University of Texas, and she was nannying. And she calls me one day in the middle of the afternoon. I'm sitting at home. She goes, Vic, I think my boss is some kind of music guy. There's a statue on this mantle. It looks like a little gramophone. I'm like, it's a Grammy, Aaron.
Jesus.
Whose fucking house are you at? And she goes, well, they're Chris Layton. There's the drummer for Stevie Ray.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Crystal Whipper Layton.
Chris Layton.
And his daughter's deaf. And the weird part is he's a drummer and she can't hear the music.
Wow.
But Erin, my former sister-in-law, she knew how to sign.
Yeah.
So she got the signing job to be their nanny for 2 years.
Wow.
And literally was roaming around their house that day and called me up and goes, Chris says someone couldn't stand the weather. I'm like, you're at fucking Chris Layton's house.
When I lived in Austin, because that's where, Stevie
where the
Ray-
statue is.
that's
Stubbs.
where
You
the
went to
statue is
Stubbs.
and everything.
I rode a bike by the statue. Lady Bird Lake.
Lady Bird Lake. That's right.
Even though it looks more like a river.
It pretty much is. It's Colorado River. That's what it is. Yeah.
Is it really?
It is.
Oh,
it's just dammed up a little bit. That's it.
It
flows.
You remember where Joey Walden, classic Austin comic, good friend of Ron White's, passed away, artist, amazing guy, Joey Walden. He got in a lot of trouble on the Austin local station because Lady Bird Johnson, she made the wildflowers of the Texas Hill Country because they were kind of dying out.
Right. Yeah.
So she did a thing to like bring them back.
Yeah.
And then Joey Walden or somebody was like, there ain't wildflowers if you replant them.
Throwing seeds.
That's hilarious.
And the whole and everybody, LBJ, everybody's fucking matter.
Yeah.
Everybody's matter this shit.
Even LBJ?
No, everybody. They're all Mamie. They're all jumping on Joey Walden for being a dick.
How did he have time? He was worried about how his dick looked in the trousers.
Right. Are they scar from the...
You ever hear the audio of him talking to the tailor about, leaving a little extra room in his trousers?
Yep. Now, another thing, the crotch down where your nuts hang is always a little too tight. So when you make them up, give me an inch that I can let out there because they cut me. They're just like riding a wire fence. These are the best that I've had anywhere in the United States. But when I gain a little weight, they cut me under there. So leave me, you never do have much margin there. Let's see if you can't leave me about an inch from where the zipper ends, round under my, back to my bunghole.
All right, then.
So I can let it out there if I need to.
Okay.
Now, be sure you got the best zippers in them. These are good that I have. And if you get those to me, I would sure be grateful.
Where would you like to sit, please?
White House.
And then we were talking about hookers.
One of my oldest and dearest friends, he has two sons. Parents divorced at an early age. And when they were like 15 and 17, because their mom had brought them up too much, he thought they were not, I guess for lack of a better term, slutty enough or not duty. They were being too considerate.
Right. Oh, really?
Well, I'm not saying I'm not saying he's being disrespectful to men, or women.
But you have to say like old school manly.
He's still trying to go grab a boob.
Yeah.
In the non-creepy Harvey Weinstein way. He's trying to still go, if you're in the 8th grade, if you go to boob, and then they go like, hey, don't go to boob. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
wait, grab a boob when they're in a car somewhere on a Friday night?
Okay,
not just grabbing a boob.
No, not the random. No.
Not when you're in the situation, start with the titty.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Side boob.
So we're not talking like the 50s where that was acceptable behavior. We're talking about when they're on a date, go for it and grab a boob, and they were too polite because the mom was raising them a little too much.
So you kind of have to go.
Gotcha.
So he decides.
You have to explain this stuff.
No, it's pretty. It was kind.
Mom was raising them too much.
It's kind of slutty, but not.
Can I go off-roading for a second? We'll go back to your story. I said all that because, this PC culture is really scary. Did you see the race where the guy ran by the reporter and slapped her on the ass?
Yeah.
They're trying to ruin his life now.
He got arrested.
Right. Now he got arrested.
Sexual abuse, I think is what sexual abuse.
Look, I wouldn't do that. Most people wouldn't do that, but I don't think he was trying to be a complete and utter dick. He was caught up in the moment. He sees a reporter and he slaps her on the
marathon.
Ass. Probably not the smartest thing to do in 2019. I understand that. But wouldn't just a good old apology suffice? Why do you have to ruin the fucking guy's life?
Not with that woman. She was angry.
But my home.
But sometimes it's just, oops, that was stupid.
Bad
I'm really sorry.
I shouldn't have
Can we
done
get
that.
past this?
That's not me.
But not in this day and age. Now you got to go for their livelihood. You got to go for everything.
Where does he work?
All or nothing. Right.
3 years ago at Christmas.
But they arrested him. You're right.
Yeah.
No, I'm with 3 years ago at Christmas. Me and my crew, we're all hanging out with a bunch of us that dated, and we're eating and drinking and having a holiday party. And the girl, who remains nameless, looks at me and she's like, that really hurt my feelings when you said that to me that night. Kind of going this way, but then a little bit not.
Yeah.
But I'm like, what'd I say?
Yeah.
And she's like, it's probably my 3rd or 4th date, 9th, 10th grade, and she had huge boobs. Yeah. So we're eating pizza, and I said something like, how can you eat your pizza if your fucking titties are falling into But I'm like 16.
Yes.
I don't know. That's a stupid ass thing to say.
Of course it's stupid.
No, it's fucking no. But
Yeah.
she tells me like 5 years ago. She goes. First of all, I thought it was really funny.
Yeah.
She goes. Secondly, I couldn't believe you were that goddamn stupid. I was gonna make out with you till you said.
Oh wow.
But I'm like, well, fucking jackass me. Didn't know my hormones are right. How can you eat your pizza if your titty's in the bacon?
Titties in the pizza.
That's kind of funny.
It's stupid.
Yeah,
but it's ignorant.
Of course
it's teenage boy
ignorant
stupid shit.
Right.
Well, that's why she laughed. No, she didn't get mad. We were high-fiving at the end of it, and I'm like, so you're telling me I had a chance to make out with you and I ruined it? I flashed all the way back.
Of course. Yeah. You didn't listen. You didn't hear anything else. You didn't hear anything else.
Like, that's right, pizza boy.
Wait, what? We would have made out? That's not the point, Vic. You hurt my feelings.
You can't get past that.
Right. But look,
no,
I hate this shit because I don't think
it's awful.
I don't think the guy was, trying to be, sexually
and nor was I,
aggressive,
to my point, right.
And he was caught up in the moment, did something stupid. I'm here to acknowledge in 2019. I can see that's a stupid thing, but then to go for his livelihood and like Judd said, they arrested the guy. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
That's just nuts.
we
But
live in
anyway,
LA.
hookers.
Oh, okay.
We're back on the
All right,
road.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Back on the road.
So Norton decides he hadn't spent enough time with him. He's kind of been an absentee dad. And so they're 17 and 15. And he's talking to him with these conversations. And it's kind of not going as laughy as we are. So he just drives them straight into Mexico and goes to a whorehouse. And so the 17-year-old starts crying immediately. Once he figures out what's going on, they're going over the border. And he's like, Dad, the 15-year-old's going three-way.
Sure, light it up.
The
15-year-old
was all about
is
it.
equally as happy as the 17-year-old is burst into tears.
Wow.
I can't believe you're making me do this. So when my friend tells me this years later, I'm like, dude, that's fucking horrible. That's not a good dad. You can't be.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, they manned up.
Wait, did both?
He goes, once you put a little tequila in some bing, ding, bing, bing, ding, and I'm not cussing.
Wait, so he allowed his sons to have tequila too?
He went straight
Even the
in there.
15-year-old?
They strode straight across the border, and
Wow,
the 15-year-old was
that's
immediately
nuts.
on board. He's driving fighter jets for our American.
Okay.
He's in there.
Nice.
He's fine. He's patrolling our skies.
Nice, thank you. Thank you for your service.
The middle one.
It looks like you enjoyed yours.
The older one is playing Dave Matthews songs in a cover band. Sadly, in Huntsville, Alabama. But the little one is going,
Hey, all right.
Which one would you have been?
I don't know what I would have done.
I would have been the 17-year-old.
I'd have cried. I
would be the 17-year-old.
I would have done you. I think I would have. I wouldn't have.
Here, I'll break. For me, I would say this. I'd be so out of my mind excited that holy shit, this is where I find myself. But I think the pressure would get to me, and I'd be like,
Well,
I would be like, fuck.
Mike and Terry were so much older than me, even though they weren't big old whoremongers or anything like that. They always told me, you don't need to go, just don't cheat, even though they did and got caught constantly. But they were like, don't cheat and just be nice. And if you can do anything, you can talk a woman out of her clothes. And you might get lucky. And if that works. But ain't no need to go to a titty bars, hookers. That's just, and we're broke, dirt poor idiots from Alabama.
Yeah.
So this is just, you're just throwing money on fire and should never do this when you could just go, hey, you like Casey and the Sunshine Man?
Have you ever used that?
I love Casey.
Like Casey?
You can't love Casey and the Sunshine. You can like Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Did I ever tell you
you
the
can't
Whitney?
love them.
I didn't tell you that. Did I ever tell you
Right,
that?
John, come on.
I love Casey and the
I like
Sunshine
him.
Look,
Man.
I lost it.
I
I told you earlier, I love SRV.
Casey and the
Why
Sunshine
do you
Man.
love? Why do you go as far
Because it's
as
white
love?
boy funky.
Yeah, I like the funk. I do.
But it's white boy funky. I tell you the greatest KC story. Totally true. West Palm Beach Comedy Club is connected to a theater. So when you would do the club as a comic, often in the theater, which sat about 750, you might get a good band or an act. Like that's where I met Louis Anderson. So me and Whitney and Foxworthy were always working the club, and then we'd wander through the back doors and see who was playing in there. KC, if you want the whole Sunshine Band, you got to pay like big money.
Sure.
So, but you get 15 of them.
Right.
You get horns. You get everything.
Right.
If you want the bootleg version, you get like 4 of them, and 2 of them playing everything else on the keyboard.
Right.
So it just depends on who you want. And he's full on discoing, or he's in sweatpants and a baseball hat. It's just like me. Depends on what you want to go. 7,500. You're getting 7,500, KC.
You get the sequence.
You want to go 12 grand?
Yeah.
You're getting the full on Sunshine Band disco outfits. You're getting fucking everything.
Right.
So we're getting the $700 version. It's going on. We and Whitney. Foxborough, they're working the club. We're wandering around in the bowels of the, and Whitney comes running.
Whitney is Larry the Cable Guy.
Thank you.
Yes.
And he's going, you got to come fucking see this. This is the greatest fucking thing ever. I'm like, what's going on? He goes, there's a bunch of dicks that are heckling KC. So there's an orchestra pit between the last row stage and the shows. And because it's local bullshit and they ain't got enough security, fucking 15, 16-year-old dudes, that's their skateboard pit. So it doesn't matter if there's a show going on.
They're still gonna skateboard.
No, you can open up the side door because there ain't no security. You can open. They're just so they're motherfucking a full-on show's going on, and you got 7 or 8, 9, 10th graders skating up and down, and this is infuriating KC. So Whitney coming, Greg goes, "Come watch this," because he's going to do a little dance. And he said, make a little love. And he'd move the mic. He'd say, do a little dance. And he'd move to the mic to the side of the mouse. He'd go, fuck you. Make a little love. Get down tonight. Fuck you. And so Whitney, and he's on the beat. He ain't missing the fucking
He's
stroke.
done it before.
He's singing the song and going, get the fuck out of here at the same time. And Whitney comes and finds me. He's like, you're missing the greatest thing we've ever seen.
It's amazing.
Awesome.
That's a pro.
I guarantee that,
you gotta go, right?
Yeah.
Well, you gotta go, Judd.
I'm sorry, boys. I got to go to my show.
Okay.
And where I have to announce the person with the proper pronoun. So I could, fuck it up at any point. So, yeah.
Wendy.
That's right. That's right. But, yeah.
If you don't say Wendy.
Oh, no. I'm going to say the full name. That's right. I don't know.
I think it's when you refer to this person. Wasn't they great? Weren't that's great.
That's what I want to say. That's what I'm going to say.
But my point
Weren't
is,
they
how
great?
about them?
Another round of applause for them. That's what I'm going to say.
But I don't even understand where the they, them comes from because, like I said earlier, it's a plural. It doesn't even make sense if you're trying to refer to somebody with a pronoun that's a plural.
Because she's in her head, many people.
Is that where that comes from?
I'm thinking so.
Oh,
I think it's full.
Oh, because it's fluid.
Well, I'm doing more.
Doesn't it go to that fluid
really.
thing?
That's right.
Today I feel like
Exactly.
I'm a girl. Today I feel like I'm a boy.
Thank
Today
you.
I feel like I'm
Sometimes you make a lot of sense.
Well, the wheels could fall off at
Sometimes
any
you
time.
feel like
That's
you're not.
it.
Sometimes you don't.
Pounds got peanut chocolate. Almost don't.
All right.
Or no, almost good. It's the other way around. We fucked it up.
I'm going to jump. Thanks
Thank
again,
you,
man.
Judd.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. See you later,
All right,
boy.
brother.
Have a
All
good
right.
one.
Judd does a good job
Take
in the
care.
podcast.
Thanks again.
How do we follow you on Twitter?
My _Judd Jones, but I got a new website, juddjones.com, that a millennial put together for me. So
Perfect.
It's
Not
very
gonna
cool.
work.
All right, it looks nice. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Hasn't got me any work yet, but it looks nice. So
Because you're not funny.
well, there's then there's that. All right, boys. I'll take care.
All right.
I think we've done it.
No, we've done it, but there's one other point I do want to make.
Okay.
Now that I'm getting older, this them, they, them thing, do you start understanding, like, your elders in your life? In my case, my dad, my mom, when they didn't want to deal with the horse shit that was going on around them. I'm starting to feel like that. It seems exhausting, some of this stuff.
I raised myself so much that I don't think I considered that too much.
Oh, really?
So I kind of think, even between Mike and Terry smacking me,
Yeah.
or my mom, my 2 brothers would smack me if I got out of line.
Yeah.
And then other than that, I was kind of left on my own. And so because I was kind of left on my own.
What about Gloria?
Well, I'm saying I was there. She worked, but I was left on my own a lot.
Were you a latchkey kid?
Yeah, 3rd grade.
3rd grade, you were coming home to a house by
Yeah.
yourself?
All myself.
Did you walk home?
Rode the bus and sometimes walk, depending
Public
on
bus or school bus?
School bus.
All right.
School busing, but no, it was.
That's so sad.
No, it wasn't. I begged for it because my alternative, she was sending me to the fucking kindergarten.
What do you mean?
The fucking nursery school, kindergarten shit. So when school got out, I had to go over here and sit at Miss Tate's.
Right.
With everybody that's 5 years old and I'm 9.
Oh, I see. That's
and
a
then
huge
all the
difference.
parents came and got them and took them away.
Right.
And I'm sitting in this little old halfway homeschooled nursery school thing.
Yeah.
Miss Tate, lovely lady.
Right. But you were too old for that shit.
Right. That's when I started getting in trouble because Norton lived 2 blocks away. My Norton, better than your Norton. Which I've always said.
Always.
Not a slam on Jim Norton. I love Jim Norton, but my Norton is better than your Norton. And he would sneak down there outside the fence.
Yeah.
He would sneak down outside the fence and go, hey. And I'd climb over the fence and go home with him. And so my mom's going, see, the day she's supposed to come pick me up. Vic's not here. He climbed over the fence. The teacher would go, I know where he is. Then my mom would go pick me up, and Gail and Charles Norton were Norton's parents. And Gail Norton worked at the high school, so she was always home by the end of the day, where my mom worked in retail.
Right.
So she wasn't home till 6, but she'd come in there to get me at, 6:05 or 6:15. She's like, I'm sorry, Gail. And she's like, he just don't want to. He's just going to keep running up here every day. And I'm like, because Chuck's trying to get me to climb over the fence.
Wow. So you really raised yourself. I didn't know that.
A little bit.
No, my point is, like, when I was growing up and, one time I showed up with an earring and my dad was just like, he just did not get it, is my point. Great guy, open mind, all that shit. But he was older. And then one time I decided to try highlights in my hair. Oh, boy. He did not get that. And you see the look of disappointment on his face. But being, that age where everyone else was doing it, you wanted to say to your dad especially, like, what's the big deal? Everyone else is doing it. I'm just trying some shit out here as I, trying to find my
crutch.
way.
That's a crutch.
But, man, as I get older, I'm starting to understand my dad more because some of this stuff is getting pretty wild and out there. And I want to have an understanding. I don't understand the they-them thing.
I don't one bit.
I don't understand it.
I agree with you.
And in the end, truly, what's the big deal?
No, I don't.
I don't understand.
Well, fuck.
That's always a sign when. That's Matt basically saying, "Hey, I need the space back."
That is right. I just noticed the same thing. No, we totally just noticed the same thing. Like, there are customers coming in here. And now we can't indulge you two fuckers.
And even though we've been entertaining our entire lives, now we're shy and bashful.
All right. I'm gonna get a drink of whiskey and go
Especially because of the one thing we're talking about right now. You don't know.
Oh yeah, totally. This dude just walked in. Yeah,
he might be at them.
You gotta be careful.
They, or is he?
No, you're right. No,
Is that how we end? I guess that's how we end.
I think it is.
Awkwardly, I think we're done now. They opened up the space here at Gebhards, and people are now all around us with their drinks, and now we gotta just kind of shut her down. I want to thank Matt and the gang here at Gebhards for once again opening up their space to us. It's Gebhards on the Upper West Side. They have another location somewhere around Times Square. I keep promising Matt I would go there, and I haven't yet. But give them a peek. We've done a lot of podcasts from here. This was the last place I saw Carl live, to be honest with you. And then I walked him a block to the subway, said goodbye, hugged him, and that was it.
Come to the Comic Strip Live on New Year's Eve. I'm hosting both shows.
Perfect.
Spend the New Year's Eve in Comic Strip Live. If you can, I'll be there. I'll buy drinks. I've been seeing everybody. Everybody's loving all the interaction. I've gotten so much good love from all this.
Awesome.
And Carl and us and
I would go,
perfect.
but I'm usually at the...
I'm not asking you. I was not inviting you.
I'm usually at the ocean pounding pots outside. Some Philly tradition that I still don't understand. We have to go outside and with wooden spoons and beat the shit out of pots. I don't know. Maybe I should. Maybe after all these years, I should ask and go. So why do we do this? No, I think it's because of my wife's lovely grandma. I think she started the tradition, and we keep that going. All right, guys, thanks.
Boo, 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 boo.
Opie Radio.
Boo, 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 boo.
Boom, 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 boom.
Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 boo.